Hi there, my name is Nick Sara, and you are about to watch the best moments of the Eternal Return Season 10 Challenger Series Phase 1 Omega Block Qualifiers. I had a lot of fun casting this event, and I cast a whole bunch of other Eternal Return content, so be sure to check that out on twitch.tv/nicksara_er, and don't forget to play Eternal Return free on Steam. Enjoy the video. Back in archer range, the fight actually seems to have restarted here. You see the Leaping Strike and Astroburst are committed here from these two players, and the Leaping Strike is actually enough to kill 7 Strike here. You actually see Analyze taking that Nimrod's Gate here, forcing Rosita to blast cone away from team of Cool Hot Average Dudes, and now we see over here Magecraft down on the ground, and Eclipse trying desperately to kill Bowser up against the wall. The explosion from Camper on duty, not enough to kill Eclipse here, as Dion Destroyer trying to come in for the secure here. That's stun. The auto dodge here, lots of sustain on this. The coup de grace not actually landing here. And then we see actually Analyze trying to run away there in school, as we see Eclipse is somehow still alive, getting some shielding here. Dion Destroyer not able to pin him down, but eventually we do see Eclipse comes down here as DeMichael here committing that ultimate ability here, trying to dive in on Dion Destroyer, getting that kill, and we actually see that's going to force a break here out of Berserkers here, as we are going to switch over to Rito Employee here, chasing 7 Strike. This team has fought 3 times already so far. 7 Strike forced to walk away as the entirety of the team collapses on Rosito here. That is going to be them out in dealing with tempo issues there. He's going to get himself to safety here. It looks like Berserkers is going to go ahead and they're going to take that battle zone, as we see another fight is breaking out currently over there in school. I actually see it as Blast versus Cool Hot Average Dudes, with a bit of a third-party action here from Weekend No Need Visa, as teams are trying to collapse onto the Alpha. Weekend No Need Visa is going to grab the Mithril. We see the blink out from Solo Young as Neo's game mode comes out. Now the battle zone is actually going on right now. We see Berserkers actually doing a great job of handling a team in the battle zone, but Asterio forced a ward hop away here as Solo Young and Rito Employee are actually fighting. And actually Blast is kind of just like not in the picture on this one. They're going to try to collapse onto Munchlax here, but the entirety of Cool Hot Average Dudes is actually going to go ahead and try to pick up this kill on Munchlax while forcing Blast to not take this, because Internet Rap is forced to revive his teammate here. You see Rune trying to position, but Dona doing a great job of actually kind of like spacing out for his team, playing that neutral, as now Blast is going to be trying to run down Cool Hot Average Dudes, as they're going to get potentially pinched or Solo Young all on their own here. Kind of an awkward situation for Solo Young. It's going to be a free kill for Cool Hot Average Dudes. However, Weekay not in the picture here. Thing sparking from that. Actually see in the corner of your screen, it looks like Dion Destroyer and Camper on duty trying to push off that team of Blast there. It's only a 2v2. Now you see 7 Strike poking a bit of damage here in Cemetery, as both of these teams decide to fight it out here. Soul Stealer is committed from Priya here as Echoes of the Earth comes down. Rosita was dangerously low, and Rito Employee is going to confirm the kill. Astroburst committed by 7 Strike, but that's going to be a lot of damage coming down. And now Analyze is forced to run away. This Isaac has great ability to run away, but they're going to run them to this team here of Berserkers. Berserkers maybe looking to try to maybe get this land here. Analyze landing that blast cone and getting away.
Okay, I see.
We see Big Beefy kind of looking at Berserkers here. Berserkers looking to maybe play a little more conservatively, as they have the box coming down in 10 seconds. And actually looking on our other screen, Magecraft, the Calorie Cyclone is committed here in order to actually try to get anything done here. The coup de grace only landing on one target, and Eclipse was forced to walk back in 2 seconds. That box is going to come down in a blitz lands, and you actually see 3 teams over there in gas station all stancing. We see Ballistics Advantage come out. It's not actually going to tag Eclipse, but the Ballistics Advantage is going to kill the Michael here, and it's going to be a free red box for Big Beefy. Points in now, taking us back up here into gas station. We see Munchlax trying to force the fight here. Dark Dagon forced to blink away. We see the duck dive on Dimby here. Munchlax doing a fantastic job with that Quake of stancing this team out, making sure that they're not able to dive too hard on Solo Young or Rike here. The Wolves posing a bit of a challenge here for Needlelight, because they would eat his skill shots here. So looking to see what they can maybe try to poke at Solo Young here, who might be out of position. Neither team totally ready yet for this fight here. Kiting away Al, and then Alusless there in the corner of your screen. That's Cool Hot Averages and Blast are having a fight. Dimby with the surfs up here. I saw Capriccio of Agony only landed on Solo Young there, and Solo Young in the back. We see an excellent exclusive here from Mai, and we actually see Nia's Game World being committed by Dona in the fight in the corner. We see Frisbee Frogs is going to terminate Weekend No Need Visa, and I'm going to take you up to this corner fight here, where we see Asterio here, the last one left on his team, forced a ward hop away. Is Merca able to grab this here with Demi and Marlene trying to see if they can finish this chase off here. Asterio doing everything he can to walk away. A lot of sustain on this Luke character. That's going to be a Terminate. Blast is out of this game in 4th place. Both teams relatively equal on items. More blood items. There's a slight item advantage here for that team of Cool Hot Average Dudes. So curious to see how we're going to try to close this gap here. I personally think that the team of Cool Hot Average Dudes is going to be a very hard team for Frisbee Frogs to fight here. Kind of a bit of a antithesis of the kind of sort of strategy that Frisbee Frogs wants to use here. Frisbee Frogs has very explosive sudden damage off of something like, say, an Explosive Bullet or Capriccio of Agony here. So Dagon looking to be very forward here. We see that shield triggers there. Both teams playing a very, very careful neutral here, doing their best to try and not take too much damage here. Rune having pretty commanding power over this neutral here. Needlelight maybe not getting as much poke as he would like in as the Chronosphere starts to shrink, forcing Frisbee Frogs to either take an engage or lose red timer. But no real good opportunities here for Dimby to try to duck dive in on us. This is an extremely difficult to dive comp, especially because Priya is so good at anti-dive. Echoes of the Earth threat is just alone enough to stop a Leon from trying to suicide dive in. Now we see the Chronosphere moving towards the team of Frisbee Frogs. Now, this actually puts the advantage here in terms of movement squarely into Frisbee Frogs, as they kind of want to be the ones to kite here. Maybe try to play a bit of vision cheese, and now we see it. Rune slightly out of position. Dimby trying to go for that duck dive there. Does not get the Echoes of the Earth out, which I believe was maybe the plan here. They wanted to try to get Echoes of the Earth out of Priya to open up a dive. Not successful. Rune, excellent control here. Soul Stealer committed here by Rune. Moving forward. Aluceless there in the back line there, trying to stop Dark-Gating Needlelight. We see Echoes of the Earth committed here. Aluceless doing a lot of damage to Dimby here, as Rito employee forced to commit the Twins Rush here. Leaping Strike from that Merca here. We see the first person to go down is actually Rito employee, and Rune is also going to go down here to Needlelight. We see Dimby going down to Aluceless here, and now it is a 1v2. Dark Dagon using that safety drone there in order to try to finish the body. And Needlelight trying to finish the body of Rune in order to try to even this out. Dark Dagon looking to revive his teammate there of Dimby, as we see Aluceless here trying to interrupt it. Actually interrupts the revive here. And see if this Merca character can pull anything out here. A lot of damage onto Needlelight. This character extremely tanky with these shields, but this is an awful lot of damage. We see the heal drone trigger there from Aluceless, as Aluceless backs up with 8 seconds of timer here. Not so much time here left. A great dash backwards here with the shielding, but is it going to be enough? Into the safe zone we go. 2 seconds left. The Chronosphere has stopped being safe. Capriccio of Agony going to help close this game out. That's going to be checkmate 2. That team, Frisbee Frogs, your winners of game number 1. And there's a fight going on over here in school, which looks to be that same team of Big Beefy here fighting Wike No Need Visa. Actually, Down Destroyer here dropping to the incredible damage that we got coming out of that Nadine and that Carla. However, Camper on duty and Bowser here looking to try to maybe turn this fight here on Munchlax. We actually see Internet Rap and Dark Dagon skirmishing, as we see the Destroyer and Camper on duty forced to run all the way back. In the corner of your screen, you see Dona there actually uniting there. It's actually a whole fight just breaking out here. The entirety of Team Frisbee Frogs and Blast are duking it out, as Camper on duty is going to potentially be finished off here. All the mobility in the world. Does Wike actually pull off this kill? Wike pulls off this kill here. That's going to be Frisbee Frogs that actually manages to... Ooh, this fight's not actually over yet here. Asterio trying to get a kill on Dimby, and actually now this is Asterio versus Needlelight. This is now a 1v1 situation here. Capriccio of Agony actually doesn't land here. That is a clutch out of Needlelight. Needlelight going to pull that clutch there for Frisbee Frogs versus Blast. Munchlax and Magecraft up here in Temple, looking to maybe stance for a fight. Two tanks kind of staring each other down. See Eclipse here coming on the backside. Magecraft's taunt was interrupted. Wike doing a lot of damage with the Wolf Assault. Eclipse on the back here. Shackling Anchor coming down from Soleil here. We actually see 2 fights breaking out at the same time. Wike down on the ground. You see in Forest here, we see 2 teams that looks to be Frog Fighters and Cool Hot Average Dudes are fighting it out. Echoes of the Earth was committed in that fight here. As you see Eclipse here trying to get as much damage as he can on Lennox. Not able to close the gap to Soleil, so he's taking a lot of damage here. Cool Hot Average Dude's going to win that fight over there in Forest, as this fight's still going on over here in Temple. Magecraft flinging himself forward and maybe catch Soleil here out of position, unable to do so. A lot of damage on Munchlax here, but Eclipse is dangerously low. This peel is really good. The taunt's not going to land on anything. You see Soleil here. Magecraft forced to walk away here, and it looks like Aluceless is the only person inside this battle zone here for night number 2 here versus Frog Fighters here. Going to be basically a free battle zone. Our first Terminate going down. Berserker's out in 8th place here. Internet Rap teleporting in to help unite the team of Blast as Asterio thinking about kind of a cheeky angle here. try to fight over this meteorite landing in 5 minutes, and there's possibly also a fight breaking out in forest soon over the tree. I'm going to bring up both of these objectives into picture-in-picture view here as we see Munchlax actually grabbing the snake bite here. Nia's Game World forced to come down here. Stereo now choosing the time to engage here. Actually seeing Striking Tiger land on Weekay as Weekay uses Wolf Assault here in order to get as much damage as possible. Weekay still going to go down and trading for Dona here as Internet Wrap and Asterio. Actually, Dona with an excellent one-up into the blink here. Going to manage to get away from that and actually turning this fight into their favor here as Pandemonium has broken out in forest there for 3 teams fighting each other. Just see Frog Fighters looking for that third-party angle here. Munchlax is still trying to fight for his life. Actually goes over the wall here. That is going to be a secured objective for that team. And now we see Frog Fighters securing 2 kills here. We'll also see Blast actually looks like they lost a member in that. It was Internet Wrap that needed to be revived at a mobile kiosk. But fortunately, they had the energy to do a mobile kiosk, so they were actually able to do this lickety-split and not lose any tempo on that. And I see Frisbee Frogs walking through the school building right now, seeing some pings and looking to play very aggressively because they feel very confident in their items here. Dona forced to blink away here as Striking Tiger here lands on Needlelight. Needlelight going to commit the blink here, and we actually see Dock Dive here from Dimby here moving into Dona. And we see Internet Wrap on the ground. Asterio here doing everything he can, but Ballistics Advantage is going to finish him off, and now Dona doing everything they can to try to survive. The one-up is used. Dimby already committed the blink here. Is this going to be a kill? That's going to be a terminate here. Blast is eliminated from the game here thanks to Frisbee Frogs. Really, really careful use of mobility skills from Dimby. Excellent chase there. And of course, great aim from Dark Dagon there with that ballistics advantage. Stancing for this fight here. I'm actually just going to take our attention fully over here. We see a triple pull from the Isaac. Analyze forced to blink out after that. No follow-up cubes from Rosito here. As you see, crossbow skill's actually not enough to reach here. Dark Dagon taking that Ghost Light proc, but is it going to be enough to kill 7? Strike manages to survive here. Dark Dagon barely escaping that big beefy play in a very patient way. These teams playing very patiently. Lots of stones on the ground. I just kind of feel like pointing that out while the teams are kind of repositioning themselves. There's a lot of stones on the ground. I couldn't tell you why there's so many rocks on the ground. Perhaps this is that advanced XP gaining technique I've heard high-level Koreans do where they farm a bunch of stones in order to get a level up on other people. They do move into the corner of the zone here as we see Dion Destroyer here dishing out a lot of damage. Camper on duty using the rocket launcher to dish out some more damage here. Rune also providing a lot of sustain to the team here as Dion Destroyer taking a bit of poke damage for free as they're trying to stance and try to close out this neutral. They don't really want to fight into this neutral with this Priya here because there's too much sustain for them to deal with it. Now, they're going to use that safety drone there, trying to cheese out as much timer as they can. And here comes that third team. Here comes Weekend Oni Visa making a decision to go into the safe zone. Much like Snakebite not going to land on anything here. These teams very patiently playing this, waiting to play their cards correct. Again, the team that engages last is typically the one that wins. The fighter has the best advantage. So now, with timers ticking down, it is important. Pandemonium is about to break out here. As you see, Shackling Anchor comes down here as Weekend Oni Visa and Cool Hot Averages are fighting each other. Soul Stealer committed by Rune, Twins Rust by Redo Employee, Echo City Earth going down. There's a ton of damage going out here. Weekend Oni Visa actually going to be the last kill is going to be a head boom there. As you see, Eluseless there knocked into the center furniture there of Chapel here. Not much timer left on this team of Cool Hot Average dudes. This fight breaking out here. There goes Redo Employee down on the ground. Eluseless there is going to head pop here. Rune with 1 second left. That is going to be a 2 terminates there. Big Beefy is the team that wins this zone here. Now we see them converging in. Frisbee Frogs already in a really, really good position here. As you see Big Beefy kind of walking forward very slowly, not yet walking into the zone, using some of these gadgets here to get some vision. As you see Dagan and Dimby looking to maybe do something a little cheeky here. They're going to get spotted. Camper on duty launching some rockets here in the neutral, trying to prevent any cheeky things from happening. You can see Dimby duck dive out of the building, back to safety here. Now we see Camper on duty taking out some of these traps. A lot of traps being dropped. The Chronosphere is dropping and it is about to start moving here. We'll see which direction it decides to go. more traps placed down. These teams predicting that they want to get these traps down in order to have advantage for the team that advances. We actually see the drone is heading once again in the direction of Frisbee Frogs, which is advantageous for this team. So that's very good to see. They put a trap there. Bowser getting hit by the trap there by Dark Dagon. Bowser taking a lot of damage. Not quite ready to commit into a dive yet here, though. As you see the safe zone start to shrink as Dion Destroyer now forced to kind of make a move through the door as Dagon does a lot of damage here. Very hard choke for this team to fight in. Bowser doing a great job of electric shifting. Capriccio of Agony going down here. Actually gets canceled out here. As you see, Bowser is immediately destroyed by Dimby in the back line here. Needlelight managing to survive, and Dion Destroyer also going to go down here. Kemper on duty, the last one alive. Switches a rocket launcher. Duck dive. Frisbee Frogs going to be the team that wins once again. Trigger repositioning versus Frisbee Frogs here down in dock here with 1 minute before any objectives come up. This fight doesn't look to be over anything here, but a lot of poke going down onto Needlelight as he's kind of caught a little too far forward. Same as Ninefold. Ninefold is also a little too far forward. Here comes the blink into the dash. And wow, the intimidation tactics doing so much damage on Dimmy as well. That's actually going to be Actor's Pay finishing off free at last to try to get any extra damage. Dagon has way too much HP for that to confirm a kill, though. But a very sudden and explosive attack there from Ninefold, resulting in 2 kills on that team.
Nice kill. Let's see if we can get some more.
So your 2 final zones are going to be Fire Station and Forest here. 3 teams here in Forest as Trigger kind of in a decent position. He lost custody in a weird one. I don't think they know here. Suddenly, whoa, Asterlac caught out here. Free at last. A lot of damage going down. Oh no, it's Sakira's caught out there. Night of Nights is going to get terminated here. J-Ting forced to blink away from this other team from Twaolo. Oh, and here comes the pipe bomb that I was kind of talking about, but not from the team that you expected here. MSGK going to go down on the ground as Loopsters tries to walk away from this. There's a lot of damage. Nimrod's Gate going to go down, but that's a lot of CC. Loopsters does manage to go through here as Twao thinking about how to run away from this scenario.
4 teams left.
Now we see here that is Soul Stealer committed by Rune there. We see Free at last. A lot of damage going down to Rito Employee. We see Actor as blink forward here. Echoes of the Earth from Rune. His intimidation tactics kind of grabs Rune by the throat and slams him into the car here. A lot of damage on the Ninefold here as Ninefold is not able to spar with Rito Employee there. We see a Looseless going down, and now this is the full team of Trigger. That's stun grab, and that's going to be a Terminate there. That is Cool Hot Average Dudes out in 3rd place. Not as many points as the last games, but doing a great job of playing macro and finding themselves once again in the final fight in a position where they have the items to win the game. But 4 blood items to 1 blood item. Trigger has an item advantage. That much is for sure. Dagon spotted there by that blast, or sorry, the vision plant there as J-Ting placed a double guillotine trying to cover the flank there, trying to, oh, and actually in a huge grab into intimidation tactics there. Dimmy is actually just taken out immediately Free at last to get extra damage onto the back line. Dagon taking a lot of damage. J-Ting with a beautiful grabs there, Actor at his speed running forward with Wolf Assault. Oh my goodness gracious, Capriccio of Agony is just not enough. It only hits 1 target here, and Dagon's just going to go down, and this is going to be a win for Trigger.
It's fine, but we're going to need more than that.
Absolutely explosive gameplay from Ninefold this whole game with those grabs there from J-Ting into the follow-up with the knock-up into intimidation tactics. Just 100-0 on these players doing an incredible job. And now we see Loopsters here fighting with Twao here. The entirety of Blast is here. Now a lot of damage from that wave function collapse, actually popping that one up from Dona. MSGK diving in deep to try to confirm the kill here. Loopsters dropping the cube to see if he can CC Asteria with a great sidestep here. But the Root actually, the second cube, actually going to pull that off here. Internet Wrap, the last member on the team alive. That is going to be a full break here. As we now look at the battle zone right now, we currently see Cool Hot Averages and Haidai Lao currently duking it out. We see now Elusive catapulting in onto the backline here, getting a great ton of Pororo here, but Rune not able to follow up on this, and now there's a Twins Rush here on Pororo, but that Striking Tiger here suppressing Rito Employee, not able to follow up with any damage here. Well played by Haidai Lao here, as that is actually going to make it very difficult for Cool Hot Average to win this zone here. We see Isvan wave function collapse there on Pororo there, and actually managing to get the kill to sustain. Not quite enough here to stop the lead island's incredible amount of damage, and that is going to be Haidai Lao, the winners of this battle zone here. Cool Hot Average Dudes is actually trying to get away, and Blast is going to try to get their hands on that Bori. And now the Meteorite comes down here, and you see a deep dive from Eluseless here, and that is full Rainbow committed by Sakura here. Rune trying to do all the damage she can versus Knight and Knights as the Tetragon is committed, and that's a lot of damage. It's too much damage for Rune to counter here. Eluseless Calorie Cyclone used in order to try to get away here, and that's going to be a full terminate here. That's actually Cool Hot Average Dudes that's been terminated out of the game here. They're going to be out in last place with 2.5 points. Team performs as we see a fight between Trigger and Frisbee Frogs breaking out. Frisbee Frogs taking massive casualties initially in the fight here. The Carpaccio of Agony not doing as much as Needlelight was kind of hoping here, as J-Tank drops the cubes here on Needlelight. Needlelight forced to blink away, but of course that's going to be a terminate. Frisbee Frogs out with only 1.5 points to their name in 7th place. That was actually a C-Not gate. Karen forced to walk out here. Pororo being chased here. Asterio not able to tag that shot there, but that's going to be a lot of damage here. They're going to commit the Nia's Game World to getting this kill. Every point they know matters, so they're going to commit that. As you see, Karen down on the ground running into Rosito's team here. Frog Fighter is going to pick up an extra point, and that is High Loud knocked out of the game and a terminate here as we see 3 teams left here. And here comes Frog Fighter getting converged upon as both teams start the fight here. Astroburst is committed forth by 7 strike here as you see J-Tank. Rosito's on the ground, and now Frog Fighter is terminated, but the fight is not over yet. Dona forced to run away with the pistol skill here, taking control of that safe zone here. Now the zone is closed off. We will only see this temporary zone here. Both teams really smart about their timer here. Here comes the Nia's Game World here. Internet Rap trying to dance around the cubes, doing everything he can to do damage here. Dimensional Strike from Ninefold here, doing a lot of damage and actually dropping Hysteria onto the ground here. Dona taking damage, getting rooted in the cube here. The 1-up is going to save them, but it's not going to be enough. And then Internet Rap, the last to go down. Trigger wins game number 4. In an extremely chaotic final zone. Very, very chaotic final zone there. A objective here, however, it looks like Trigger and Wind Knights here looking to fight. We see a blink here from the human as Free at Last and Return of the Blades goes down here. We actually also see Berserker and Weekend Need No Visa fighting up there in Police Station. We see Sheena going down to Actor at his Spade as Actor at his Spade is running down Darkhong right now, trying to maybe get the blast cone, but actually baited by Darkhong. Actually, that is really unfortunate here. Actor at his Spade. Gonna meet up with J-Tank. J-Tank gonna get the Spring Trap. No, the Spring Trap's gonna miss, and Darkhong with some excellent movement here, but Ninefold actually managed to get the kill as that fight is still going on up there in the corner of your screen there. It looks like you see 11 launching forward and a shackling anchor landing on top of Magecraft. We have a terminate here from Wind Knights. Wind Knights is actually terminated here. And now we see Big Beefy here looking to VLS somewhere, looking to reposition somewhere where there's an objective. We actually see this team here. They're looking, oh wow, that's a very aggressive gameplay mechanic here. We actually see Monohoshi's out and Shackling Anchor dropped here, and now it's a third-party situation where we see Nimrod's Gate coming down, forcing Big Beefy to walk away. Weekend Oni Visa barely getting out alive. As you see Trigger landing and actually running into Camper on duty here, getting a bit of a stun here as Ninefold goes deep for this, and the Twins rush landing on the other 2. Excellent parry as well. Protocol violation coming down a little lake as Sola Young here running into the Peacemaker here. This is a dangerous situation. Oh my goodness gracious, I got terminated for the greed that they talk about. The greed actually going to be the reason why Weekend Need No Visa's out of the game, and Dion Destroyer forced the blast cone away as Trigger is going to be able to secure this objective. My goodness gracious, Sola Young, you're so greedy. Trigger getting a buy. They got a tactical skill and a bunny hat here just in time for Big Beefy to stumble on them. A lot of damage coming out on Dion Destroyer. Monohoshi Zhao into EIC Strike doing a crap ton of damage, but it's not enough potentially. Actor that is paid proving to be pretty much unkillable here. Is that actually... He's going to survive with like less than 20 hit points here. J-Tank taking a lot of damage from Bowser here. Unfortunately, this is not good. Actor that is paid not able to support this here as Ninefold now falls, and Actor that is paid forced to run into the red. Got an early Rose Steps, but now MSGK bought a VF Blood. So this is going to change it. A whole fight breaking out here in Warehouse as we see J-Tank on the ground. It's the refight here. The Peacemaker coming out, stopping any deaths from happening, but Camper on duty accidentally stumbles outside of the Peacemaker zone, and now Bowser is left alone here to try to 1v2 versus Trigger here. A lot of damage coming out. Bowser going down. That is going to be Trigger taking another team out of the game. Big Beefy here. Oh, we see the pipe bomb technique we talked about. There's so much damage going through the Nimrod's gate out of nowhere here. The blast cone making it very awkward for Night Knights. This whole team, if he lost custody, completely scattered here as full rainbow goes down. Unfortunately, Asterlac caught in the chaos and confusion. If we take a look at the map, it looks like it's going to be factory and forest final zones here. Now we see Haidai Lau, the Wickline team spots. He lost custody on this kiosk here. Full rainbow committed on top of Karen there. That is an incredible amount of damage that we just watched Karen tank there. Hesterlek down on the ground after the striking tiger. Sakura barely getting away, and Night of Knights going down as well. I'm pretty amazed by that, and it actually looks like Trigger finds Sakura in a bush. He lost custody now, terminated out of the game, and we are in a top 3 scenario here. Oh, and here we go. We actually see Ninefold taking a lot of crowd control here. Springtrap landing on 2 targets. The wave function collapse here actually going to be the reason that Ninefold goes down. A lot of damage still coming up from MSGK here. Actually, this is looking like a 2v2 now. MSGK on the ground here as you see Twao playing ring around Rosie around a car here. And Loopsters doing a frustrating amount of damage, committing that blink here to not get Springtrap. And Twao and Loopsters trying to figure out how they're going to handle the rest of this fight here. Both those bodies are finished off here. You see Nimrod's gate forcing the team to get out here. It looks like they're going to actually teleport into the zone to try to get a better position to fight here. So this is looking to be like a 2v2 scenario here with Haidai Lau just chilling in the other zone, taking it very, very like calm and collected, you know, not really trying to push their luck, trying to go into the other zone. Okay, now we see Loopsters. I'm such a fan of this. We're going to put C4 down. They recognize that they need as much damage as possible versus his team, and they're going to drop C4. This is how you're... I love this. We actually almost knock him into the C4 here. We actually see Loopsters using that Nimrod's gate in order to reposition. Protocol violation coming down here, and we saw that haymaker. We actually see Twal taking a ton of damage and going down, and Loopsters trying to keep the dream alive here, doing as much damage as possible to J-Tang to maybe squeeze a kill. Springtrap doesn't land, but that is going to be a terminate. Now they're seen under vision, using vision gadgets here in order to try to see what they can. They trigger the double guillotine, but very inconsequential to trigger it at this point, so not a bad thing that they walk into it here. Wawa Karen using a lot of that space, trying to move forward. Squirrel traps and double guillotines go down as Pororo is looking to kite this team out. Not looking to get dove on here. Now we see the flank here. Yui Turi looking to try to get an alternate angle here. Now we see Karen flashes in here. We see the twins rush here from Ninefold into the backline here as Pororo doing a ton of damage here. Yui Turi taking a bunch of damage, and Yui Turi actually goes down for this. Pororo trying to do everything they can with the Wolf Assault here, and they're actually going to go down. And Karen, the last member alive here. Trigger just mopping this team up as if it's nothing. It's effortless. The healing drone is absolutely not going to do anything here. And this is just looking like another win for Trigger. This is going to be win 3 in a row for Trigger. Checkmate. As now the objectives go down here, I'm taking our attention over to Temple while I bring up the hotel fight right now. As you see Eclipse taking a lot of damage to Free at last. Actually 3 or 4 dodges in a row, but Eclipse is still going to go down at the Michael leaves here. We actually see that team of Wind Knights here. Hey, you guys looks like they are the winners of the tree, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if they actually managed to get the tree from that. It looks to be a Peacemaker coming down from... Yeah, it looks like there's a Peacemaker coming down from Camper on duty here as they're fighting over that Alpha over there in Beach. And we see the team of Twao here fighting Wind Knights. But Wind Knights is just 2 people versus, but that's a lot of damage Urana getting out here. Actually, we see Wike Nino Visa going in on that fight there in Beach in the corner of your screen. As we see Smash to Smithereens is committed by Twao here, and that is going to be the reason that Urana goes down. And Darkong has some big shoes to fill trying to get this 1v3 done. And that is going to be that fight resolved here. Darkhong VR are going to go down, and that is going to be Wind Knights losing that battle zone here. They might actually just end up finding a whole team. We know how aggressive Bowser likes to play the game, immediately just going in on the fight here. We see Dion Destroyer here actually repositions instead of trying to dive all the way back in. The healing drone is popped here. We actually see that Pure Rage Uppercut here not actually connecting onto anything. Monohoshi Zao not doing a lot of damage. As Wolf Assault here is actually going to be... No, it's actually not going to be a reason that Bowser goes down. In fact, Bowser stays alive versus Pororo there as Twao and Wind Knights in the corner of your screen. We're looking to fight, but nothing happens there. Now we see Wike Nino Visa here trying to spar here with... He lost custody. You see a bit of neutral play here. Snake bite from Munchlax. Not going to grab anything as they fight over this tree here. And in the corner of your screen, you see an archery range fight, but the Tetracon and Shackling Ink coming down here in this fight here in Forest. Actually see Wike falling to the ground here. And the bear, wait, Dynamite's died to the bear. Is that a -1? Or is that, don't you lose points for bear? I don't remember off the top of my head, actually. That's kind of amusing. The bear, check the PayPal. This could be breaking out here between Wind Knights and Big Beefy here as Urana looking to get some poke out here. Bowser maybe not interested in trying to get aggressive here, and Sheena really wants to push the issue here. And now we see a complete dive in here. Sheena taking a bunch of damage. Just a little bit of an overextension as Bowser manages to survive here. And now you see Urana on the back foot here. They're going to go down for it. You see Monohoshi Zhao able to close this fight out. That is going to be a Terminate. Wind Knights out of the game. Their dreams of qualifying for ERCS dashed.
Let's see if we can get some more.
Sent to the wind. Here comes the double safe zone here. Dion Destroyer with like no timer left. Unfortunately, I think this is just going to be the end of it here for this team. We see Trigger moving forward here. Dion Destroyer going down. Big Beefy has been terminated out of the game here. And now you see Wike taking a lot of damage here from Rio. Munchlax pretty much melting immediately, opting to take a mobile VLS and get themselves out of trouble immediately. And now we see a standoff here between Berserkers and Haidai Lao here. Magecraft looking to try to get the engage here, not able to land a taunt. Actually, they do land a taunt here, and that's going to be Yuri Turret just exploding here. A very good taunt here. Calorie Cyclone was committed just in case it became a full fight, but Pororo here trying to run away, and Karen committing that Striking Tiger. Michael not able to get any form of crowd control done here. Berserkers buying some vision items, buying some EMP drones, trying to get every single advantage that they can try to find here. Every little piece of vision, every little piece of power that they can bring to the table. As Magecraft goes in, Eclipse committing the blink here, but this is an ill-fated engage as Echoes of the Earth goes down, and you see Magecraft explode immediately. J-Tang her sitting on top of Michael here, and Eclipse goes down at the same time. Checkmate. Trigger wins game number 6. And that is going to close out all 6 games of your ERCS qualifiers here. Trigger taking a 4th win in a row. Every game they played, they just won. Absolutely phenomenal gameplay from that team. Your 8 teams that advance are Trigger, Frisbee Frogs, Blast, Big Beefy, Twa Oo, Cool Hot Average Dudes, He Lost Custody, and Haidai Lao. The 4 teams that did not make it are Berserkers, Wike No Need Visa, Frog Fighters, and Wind Knights. Trigger just absolutely dominating in points and just taking first place because of they just won every single game. They were insane. They played very, very well. Frisbee Frogs also played very well. Really happy to see them advance forward. Unfortunately, Frog Fighters not advancing. I was really also kind of rooting for that team because it's kind of an underdog team. So really unfortunate to see how that played out there.